Welcome, everybody. I'm here with HeatherMcKinney.com. Heather's actually here with me for our monthly webinar. Today, the topic's motivation, which is perfect for January, certainly, although we're getting towards the end of January already. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Heather.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Angie, for hosting me. This
Absolutely.
is fun to be together at the start of the year. The topic is kicking off 2017, but of course you can use this anytime you like to keep you motivated.
Certainly. We need it all the time, right? Or every month, every morning.
Visit us at heathermckinney.com. You can see our recordings and much more there. You can learn all about doTERRA essential oils. I focus on the site with doTERRA essential oils plus wellness and personal development. Contact me at Grow, Shine, Thrive and let me know how I can help you advance in your life as well. So with that, it's time to grow, shine, and thrive. Jim Rohn shares this quote, and I do really like it because motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Today's discussion is about motivation, what it is, what it means, how does it change inside, what fire gets you going, and then once you identify all of those factors, then you can create your habit. So trying to create a habit before finding what motivates you is a little counterproductive. What we're doing today is really focusing on that motivation piece.
I love it. It reminds me of get started anywhere. This is a saying I love.
So the key for today, if you remember nothing else, is this little phrase I created and want to really bring into your life and your mind and maybe even on a monthly basis. Or write it down. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Write it down, put it on your computer, put it on your mirror at home. Motivation plus a match in the incentives and a match in habits leads to success. So motivation plus incentives plus habits equals success. The key to this is first identifying what motivates you, then select incentives or rewards that match that motivation, and third, identify productive habits that support the first two, and finally embrace your success as you keep this.
Love it. When you sent this over to me, I really resonated with this formula because I think it's easy and it is something, like you said, we can put anywhere. We can put it on our computer screen, on our desktop. It's really important.
So the key for today, two things I guess if you can memorize, is that that formula for motivation, but also really realize that motivation is an internal. Your motivation, what motivates you, comes from within inside you, and we'll see later, we'll learn about incentives and rewards. That's really what someone else is imposing on you, hoping that that's something you care about. If it's a match, great. It helps you go forward and be successful. If it's not a match, who cares? Someone's providing a reward that you don't care about, it's not going to work. So this goes for, pay attention for this if you're a parent and you're helping your children, if you're trying to motivate yourself, if you're an executive and you're trying to motivate your employees, if you're a business owner and you're trying to provide incentives to grow your client base. Really think about if what you're providing is what internally motivates the audience you're trying to connect to.
That's so important.
So if you're trying to figure out what motivates you as a person, first think about what you care about, right? Then know what your personal goals are in connection with what you care about. Then be honest with yourself. So I really do want you to give yourself permission. This is really important. Be honest with yourself about what you care about. A popular thing to think about is financial, right? If we provide a monetary reward, we assume that that's motivation for any of our employees. Excuse me. Or we assume that that's motivation for maybe our children. But maybe it's not. Maybe what they want is more time with you. Maybe what they want at work is more time with their family. So if you're providing an incentive that is not really what that person wants inside, step back and think about it. And that's true for yourself too. If you're trying to set up a reward for yourself, but it's not really what you want, it's not going to motivate you.
Yep, so true.
Be realistic. So dreams are good, visions are good. I love that. Keep it alive. But when you're seeking your motivation, smaller baby steps are a lot more powerful usually. And finally, look at this next slide here, this hierarchy of needs. If you're not aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, check it out online. You can learn a ton of things about this. The simplicity for today is I wanted to bring it to your awareness, bring it back into your life if it is something you've heard about, and really connect it with motivation. If you're able to satisfy the first level, which is physiological survival, pretty much basic survival, and then go up to safety, and as it goes up, your needs and your motivation can change in accordance to each other. So just be aware of this.
Yeah. Last time that we talked about this, Heather, I was sharing that when I was taught about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I was taught that physiological motivation, safety motivation is pretty basic. You know, we get up and we do our job because we have to provide a house for our kids and we have to put food on the table. But when it comes to goals that are above that, that's when we really need to tap into that personal motivation, because it's not, you know, we can survive without it. And it's kind of like, okay, we better find that personal motivation. We're not necessarily going to do it.
Right. Absolutely. It won't make you want to get out of bed and do well. So the different types of motivation, if we think about what is motivation, where does it come from, how can I dig into this a little more? Intrinsic, and then there's extrinsic. So intrinsic motivation is just a word that means it's coming from within you, within yourself, inside your brain, your heart, your mind. Extrinsic is a word for external. So it just truly is simplicity, means that it's coming from outside of your own being. Somebody else might be imposing it. Somebody else maybe have said to you that this is important, and it's up to you to identify where your motivation is coming from. I personally find that the intrinsic internal motivation is what keeps your fire alive. It's what keeps you wanting to do more, wanting to do better at something, the desire to stick with something if you're going through a tough time. That intrinsic motivation is really key.
And the one thing we've seen in corporate wellness is for the executives to be able to find a way to learn what their employees' intrinsic motivators are. There's all kinds of ways, surveys and, you know, individual meetings, but, you know, when they just go at it from the extrinsic side and just say, okay, we assume it's financial, and you said this already.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. Or if you assume that they want to be a part of a social situation, part of a group, part of a culture, part of that work environment, maybe they don't. Maybe they come to do their job and they're done. They have another social environment afterwards. And so just try to listen and be aware of what is motivating that person. So Walt Disney, I adore some of the things he has to share with us. He was very successful in his life, of course, but did it with a smile, with some fun. So I think that that's important with motivation, is to try to keep it light, but also productive at the same time. And what he says is the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So jump in there, just do it, learn as you go, and you know, don't get yourself into that paralysis from analysis, and just keep going. Just do it. So one of the key things in our webinars at heathermckinney.com, and one of the main points I'd like you to do with learning and working together with me, is to learn to be your own coach. I give you tips to help you learn to get motivated, or maybe to learn about something else. But in the end, the idea is that you learn these tips so you can be successful. You can be your number one fan. I can be right there with you as your co-supporter along the way, but you have to do it. You have to do the work. So these are 7 key steps to help right now, right today, get started and get yourself motivated. Identify what you really want, decide when you want it, determine who will be involved, write it down, put it in writing, make it real, envision it with all of your senses, in your mind, in your, feel it, smell it, think it, just see yourself there, make it real, and then connect with one key person that can hold you accountable to all of these steps.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we've talked about this before as well, having spent a decade in corporate wellness, we used to call that accountability person, a wellness partner. And it could be the biggest success of a program, and it could also be the biggest failure. And the reason it could be the biggest failure was we would often get people come back and say, well, my wellness partner didn't hold me accountable. So it might be a wife who picked her husband to be the accountability person. She set a goal to walk, 3 miles 3 times a week. She meets with her husband, over dinner one night and tells him, well, I only did it once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he would usually say, oh, that's okay. We were so busy and I don't even know why you're doing this anyhow. You're perfect as you are. And they'd come back and say, they just let me off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an accountability partner. An accountability partner is going to say, Heather, what are you doing? You're making excuses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be your partner if you're not going to take it seriously. I will meet you 3 times a week next week and take a walk with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's an accountability partner. And that's someone who can support your personal motivation.
Beautiful. So believe you can do it, have the person that also believes you can do it, and then just jump in there.
And do it, absolutely.
So here's our reality check for what's helping or hindering you in your own motivation. Ask yourself, what is working to motivate you? What is not working to motivate you? Meaning, what does inspire that fire in your heart to do certain things and in your life to get you up out of bed and make you want to move? And what doesn't provide any kind of motivation for you? The more you can try to identify these, and they will change over time. That's why it is important to re-listen to these webinars, come back and keep working together with me, because your life changes. And so what's in your life will change in terms of what's motivating you at that moment. Release what isn't working at that moment, reset, and just keep moving on.
Absolutely.
So things that I use personally, people always ask me, what do you use to stay motivated? You seem to have all this energy and love what you do, and it really is true. Here are some products I use specifically from doTERRA that keep me motivated. The essential oil of Motivate and the Mito2 Max. Motivate is an essential oil you can get on my website, heathermckinney.com, if you're not already trying the products or working with someone that really helps you and supports you. I would be happy to be here for you. That oil, Motivate, I put a couple drops in my diffuser. Mm-hmm. I smell it in my office. It changes my mood. It changes my feelings for the day. When I want to do a new project, it just makes me feel good and welcome that challenge. Some of the places that some clients really love to use this oil is in the work environment, before a big event, such as sports or a performance, a speech, but also at home. Kids love to use it before a test. Maybe it's the night they're smelling it when they're studying, and then that morning before they go. So have fun with this oil.
Yeah.
It's a really encouraging blend.
What is in the blend?
It's the citrus oils. It's very uplifting, engaging. It's supporting your brain, your brain to really embrace the newness that can come and creativity. So citrus is a focus in that.
That makes sense to me because I love the citrus oils to uplift me. That makes sense.
And then the second product that I use to keep me motivated and keep me going is this one. I really do love it. This is one of my all-time favorite things with doTERRA, Mito2 Max. It gives me energy. It does not provide that jitters, the ups and downs, the peaks up high and the really down lows from caffeine that you naturally get. What this does is it goes into your cell. Everybody has their body made of tons of cells in their body. That cell needs proper nutrition and support to provide function in your body. Mito 2 Max goes inside that cell membrane. It feeds what gives your body natural energy. It's part of the ATP process. You can look up more of that if you're interested in more of the science aspect. The sum of it is it gives you natural energy, and it provides that ongoing sustainable support for long-term energy without the ups and the downs of caffeine. Your metabolism is supported better. Your mental energy is supported better. I can focus longer. My body goes longer. All of that. And when I'm tired, I know that energy is burned out. I don't go through extreme highs and extreme lows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never realized this was even an option. I thought caffeine was the only option. This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So check that out. Come to the website and keep learning more and more. Come get my discounts. I want to share them all with you. Go to heathermckinney.com. You can see and do everything that I do to be successful, enjoy my life. I'm here for you. And if you do want to reach out and contact me, email me at growshinethrive@gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Heather. We certainly hope that you'll reach out to Heather and get whatever information you need to stay motivated throughout 2017. And look for us to be back next month. Also, look for Heather. Follow Heather on Facebook, where she does some Facebook Live and has some other posts that really would support and motivate you throughout the month.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.